So Bobby's a mentor of mine. I learn from Bobby a lot. I pick and choose primarily men in my life that are family oriented first. Men that fight for their wives and fight for their kids. And I love your wife so much. I've been on the phone with her for hours and hours and just never met a happier, more cool couple. You guys got pregnant in Key West in the back of a camper.
Yep.
And there was like 9 other people in the camper.
Yep. We all pitched in $5 to rent it.
So like that, they got pregnant on this trip with a bunch of their friends. Their friends were in the camper having to hear this whole ordeal go down. But why I bring that up is that a lot of people look at a guy who's sold the company for over $1 billion and now has $750 million of real estate. And you go, oh yeah, it must be easy for you. This guy has come from worse beginnings than 99% of people on the planet. And you have to understand, his wife almost leaves him. She's driving her car with their infant. And she's saying, dude, you don't do anything. Like, you look at these classifieds all day long. He's gonna lose his wife and lose his daughter over how he was not taking action and was not changing his life. And so you have to understand the backstory to understand why this is such a triumph for you to be doing what you're doing today. And for people in here who go, well, Bobby has more than me. Of course, Bobby's got a $500 million or $250 million of real estate. Of course he does. He's Bobby Castro. No, he borrowed somebody's $1,700 she had to pull from her bra, which means that's her last dollars.
Yep.
That's like her safety money. She gave it to him. You take this course, right? This pamphlet.
Yep.
You go and build this insane company. The leadership I loved from learning about how you ran that company is you would be in the pits with your guys.
Yep.
You weren't in the high office and the glass office going, do the thing, do the thing. You were actually down in the pit.
We nearly had 1,000 employees, and my desk was just centered right there. In my book, I call it a flash dancer. And a flash dancer, man, it is.
You're talking about an Instagram influencer that doesn't actually do the thing that he says he's going to do.
You got it. Doesn't walk the walk, has no integrity, has no character, lying to themselves. And I used to be, and I talk about it in my book, a really, really, really good flash dancer. Until I started realizing the day that changed, and I talk about it in the book when, on a weekday, guys, on a weekday, I'm living in my in-laws' house again. No money, in and out, doing all this roller coaster stuff. I'm walking out of their house on East 8th Lane in Hialeah, Miami, on a weekday, about when everyone's coming home from busting their butt, working. They're coming home now. And I'm walking out of their house. A black Mustang pulls in, a beat-up Mustang, and no air conditioning. It was actually the reverse fumes. You ever had those where it's like that?
It's like heating you. Yeah.
It was just, and pulls up, and an amazing individual in the front seat. She was just the hottest chick from then and now in my eyes. Smiling at me, super red only because in Miami it's humidity in the summertime. And then right behind her, an incredible little peewee, an infant, and that was my daughter. Same thing, pink. That day, the flash dancer left me. I stopped pretending, lying. I started becoming a long-term thinker. It was my wife, and the Mustang that her parents friggin' bought us. I'm telling you, from 1 to 10 as an individual, I was a -1. Change is powerful. You can change. You can change your mindset. Everything changed for me when I started thinking long-term. I stopped being a transaction person. Yes, in the beginning, you may feel as transaction because you're trying to get only one thing, guys. Do not chase the money. Create the momentum. Powerful. Compound your efforts. And I'll give you an example that I became obsessed with when I started understanding compound. A lot of people want to talk about compounding money. It's an easy thing to figure out. 1 penny a day. 1 penny a day that each of you may just walk over. Matter of fact, the homeless person will probably throw it back at you. 1 penny a day compounded for 30 days. equals over $5 million. 31 days, one extra day, over $11 million. Can you imagine not having no money? Maybe some of you are out there struggling. What if you compound your effort, your intention? It's so powerful, I can't tell you. One day, it just starts showing up. And when it shows up, it's a foundation. It's a foundation. But you know what? Along the way, I almost did revert back to flash dancing because I lost my way. I was doing good. And then I started taking it for granted. I started losing my ways from distractions. Distractions are what? Social media, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, maybe some of these things that are around us, because we go through 70,000 thoughts a day. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, you're actually going through thoughts. There's so much going on in your life right now. So can you imagine, what if I can compound my effort, compound my focus? When you start doing that, you start looking beyond the dust. Now you have a clear picture of what you truly want. Becoming wealthy, guys, it's not hard. Matter of fact, I was telling Pace, and I can say this, I was told not to say it, other than I can't say what goes on in the room. Think about it, man. My dad's a Puerto Rican, my mother's Jewish and Irish. I was born in the Bronx. I've had family members that committed suicide, family members that died of themselves. I come from friction and drama like a lot of you. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be sitting in a very small setting, like him, hate him, love him, that's up to you, with Bill Gates. Can you imagine this dude? I'm gonna be with Bill Gates. This dude, I had intimate times with Richard Branson, just one-on-one, just he and I at a bar. All these people wind up coming in your life. They're there. You just don't see them because all this dust, distractions, all this generational curse, all this complaining, poor me, me victim, and then you fall into transactions. Do not get into real estate if it's gonna feel like a job. In the beginning, it's frustrating. In the beginning, it's confusing. But if you just, I beg you, I have no motives here, guys. I don't want nothing from you. Focus on one thing. What is that? Yeah, momentum. You just need momentum, that flywheel, that is the hardest thing. But when a flywheel gets going, you can't stop it. Focus on the momentum. What you're learning, what you're creating. Do not become desperate. When you become desperate, you're gonna quit. You're gonna find reasons to tap out. Just like my parents tapped out. I love my mom. My dad, he was a cruiser, man. He didn't care. He lived on every entitlement that this great country offered. I witnessed it. You don't tap out. You're gonna feel like tapping out. You will get excited after this speech. You can't even sleep tonight. But it goes away without momentum. With momentum, it just builds. Think about your effort. Think about your focus. That's more powerful than money. That's what creates the money. Money just does not show up.
This is why he's one of my favorite. Sometimes when I hang out with Bobby, I'm like, I don't even need to be up here. I just want to be, I want to be watching Bobby. Bobby, if you went back, you looked at the money you've made versus the skill sets, the relationships, and the resources, and you could only keep one. Which one are you taking? The money?
Relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah.
That's coming from a billionaire. A guy who sold the company for $1 billion says, I would rather take the relationships, the skill sets, and the resources I've gained along the way than the money I've made. It's one of the most important things I've learned from this guy is how he treats every single relationship he has, how he shows up for his kids and his wife. The relationships are so critical. It's amazing too that you also walk the walk, because you go, where's Eddie? From New Jersey. Yeah. This dude had his pants down and you remembered his name. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, his pants were down. Okay, got it. I mean, you'd think he's too busy to ask people their name, but he's not. Because he understands the value of a relationship. One person that you'll meet in this room this week will change your entire life. Absolutely change your entire life. Momentum is critical. I got an email this morning from somebody on my team. They said, hey, our company grew 2% this last month. I go, whoa, slow down. Because I understand the compound effect of 2% a month and what that looks like. And the toughest part is when you have nothing, you want to go from 0 to 5,000% growth in 2 days. And so you get desperate.
Yep, absolutely.
And when you don't see that 5,000% growth, you then want to tap out. And so all you're trying to do this whole week, just to give you clarity on who these people are brand new to real estate. This is a week where I invite everybody to my office and go, let's do deals together live. Wow. So this week, they're setting their first appointments. Wow. I'm making the calls to their appointments. I'm negotiating on their behalf. They're going to see my transaction coordination team over there doing all the paperwork and running all the transactions. So by the end of the week, you guys will know where leads come from, how to set appointments, how to talk to real estate agents, how to submit offers, and then how to fill out contracts by Thursday of this week. That's like 4,000% growth in 1 week.
Wow.
Okay? But you got to understand what Bobby's talking about is you don't become a billionaire by going, let me go 4,000% every single week. You're going to go home, and a lot of the energy of this room and this office is going to go away.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Right? Have you ever had that in your life where you have amazing moments and then some friend from the past or something comes in and pulls you back?
Yeah, and again, in my book, I call them distractions. They're energy vampires. You know, family is the most sensitive part for me, and I come from a huge family. And I literally, guys, my focus is my legacy, because what I want to do is create a better way the Castros do life. And 90% of my family, I don't associate with. I love them from a distance, but I cannot win with them. It's the same conversation. It's the same, you know, they're in the same spot. You know, I'm there to help as much as I can. And then I realize I wasn't helping myself. If I want to change my legacy for my purpose, I have to move on. And sometimes do not look don't seek justification. Don't run around to your family members. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're wasting something I call, it's trademarked. It's called non-refundable minutes. You will never get them back. So if you want to be a good investor,
because I'm about to steal that.
Non-refundable minutes, trademark, including positive PMA all day, every day is trademark, and then stack and rack. You stack means you stack the money you're earning, you rack them into investing. You never spend, you only invest. You only invest. You constantly invest. It's not about the amount of money investing. It's the habit that builds up a routine of investing. It builds up really quick if you can get there. So distractions, I would honestly say, now that I have a little spectrum of the room, you're going to have to start subtracting people out of your life. And it's not a bad thing. They're beautiful people, but they're as jammed up as you are. So what value are you going to get? What value are you going to get? You're doing more damage to each other. You're bringing upon more friction, more frustration. That's where that desperation builds up. You're going to have to subtract before you add. A lot of people are trying to add these new relationships as you are getting just dialed in from other things that you need to get away from. In order, remember, I said you had to unwind yourself. That means your mindset. Right now, a lot of you are so excited. It is possible. But the intention has to be so crisp. So crisp. It's that you're just going to wait for 10 years. You want wealth. A lot of people here don't want to wait for 10 years. See, yeah, I understand you want to make $100,000 next month. You want to make $100,000 this year. What if I told you that in 10 years, you can make $100,000 a day? And you can go to the park. You can travel. You can provide things to your family. So, you know, that's the power of it. 10 Christmases. Well, then you have arguments. Well, Bobby, you know, life is too short, man. Well, you know what? And then when they tell you that, how healthy are you? They're not even healthy. I'm 58 years old. I want more out of life. I take care of myself inside and outside. I want more. So until you can get that to that level with yourself, because you are the best asset, Everyone wants to talk about supply and demand. Bitcoin, I get it, 27 million coins. I get it. Supply and demand is huge. In real estate, you have to really look at supply, as I am. But what if I tell you the fact, and I'm looking at you, you're one, never again, ever, what's your name? Tonda? Never again, ever, there'll be another you. What is that worth? You want to talk about Bitcoin, 1 out of 27 million? 1 out of 1, never again. But yet, you don't believe that. Yet you don't see how valuable that is. So if you can get there for a moment, and in order to do that, you're going to have to really clear out some stuff in your life.
Bobby, what
get there.
What about your parents? Are they still alive?
My dad passed. I grew up, my mom and dad, I just found out. It's incredible. I'm just coming up for air, and I'm finding out my mom and dad never was married. Yeah, my dad had 15 kids. Then he had me when he was 50. My mom was 27 years old. She was in Brooklyn. He was in the Bronx. I don't know what she was thinking. He lived to 94 years old. My mother's still alive. She's 85 years old. They lived their entire lives together, separate. It was cats and dogs, fleas and roaches, and Rent-A-Center. We lived on Rent-A-Center. My mother would have to work her tail off, not like now, press a button for 22% gratuity. She had to give you the best service, the best value, hopefully for that 18% gratuity so she could go back to her boys and pay for that coffee table. Every week they were picking it up. Yeah, so my dad, I love him. He was very physically there, not presently there.
Did he ever ask you for money when you were making money? And what did you do?
He didn't go to my wedding. And I live such a transparent life. I love it because that's called freedom, man. Forget about this financial freedom stuff. It's just, be who you are. My dad, when things were going good, and it's been going good for a while, he would come and hey, I need a few dollars, just abruptly. And in the beginning, I would just give it to him. And then in the beginning, Pace, I would not rapidly give it to him. I'll be with you in a second, Dad. Because it bothered me a little bit. And then one day, he waited a little too long around the office. He walked out, didn't even come to my wedding 2 weeks later. Just for money. You chase money, you're chasing nothing.
What did that relationship look like after that?
This
is a selfish question, by the way.
No. And let me tell you, my dad taught me so much he didn't even realize. I just did everything opposite. I started picking up these patterns, generational patterns. I started picking up that behavior. It's like you hang around with someone that's doing crack, no matter how strong you are. Oh, not me. You hang out with a little bit, you're going to hit that pipe. It is what it is. So can you imagine if you're hanging out with someone in a mindset or a behavior or a routine or a pattern, how they do life, you'll pick it up. How do you think people talk Chinese? How do you think people talk the way they do in Louisiana? How do you think they talk like in New York? You pick it up. Question is, what do you want to pick up?
Real estate?
Yeah. And by the way, the company we sold was a fintech company. I was a broker. Started a fintech company without knowing we were starting a fintech company. And this is way before the fintech. We were the very first fintech company. So if anybody was wondering.
Anybody have family members in their life that are draining on you? Okay, so what I say all the time the last couple of years, by the way, I've known Bobby for 3.5 years. I saw him on stage and I was like, that guy needs to be my mentor. I need to be around that guy. I need to be friends with that guy. And has a lot of the same history that I have, and I'm currently going through. I'm 16 years younger than him, so I'm going through some of the same stuff he's going through, or he went through. One of them is my dad, right? Guy who taught me work ethic, but asked me for money. We have 12 kids in our family. I'm the only one he asked for money for. Doesn't go to the other ones. And so it's like, well, Bobby, you have money. Just give it away. What's your problem, Bobby? That's what I get from people that go, what's your problem? Just you should retire your dad. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I have team members and employees I'm responsible to. That is the most irresponsible thing on the planet for me to do. Is if I have an employee, let's say you're one of my team members on my team, and you watch me just put $1 million in go buy him a house, go do all this stuff, and you're over here working your guts out for the team, trying to get a bonus or a pay raise or this or that. So I finally got my dad off my back about 6 months ago. And what I did is I told him, Dad, every time you ask me for another $15,000, I'm happy to give it to you, but you're going to have to ask one of my employees to let go of their bonus.
Wow.
He hasn't called me since.
Good for you. Good for you.
Well, it's just being around you, right? Picking it up. I pick up the way you operate. I pick up the way you treat your wife. I pick up the way you treat your kids. I pick up the way you're bringing your kids into your business. You're saying, hey, actually, if you guys have listened to me the last couple of years, I changed the way I speak about spending time with my kids. Because a lot of people go, I want to spend time with my kids. It's like, okay, but just so you know, your kids are going to live a really long life. I want to build an environment like you've built that your kids want to be around when I'm 58, when I'm 68, when I'm 75. I want my kids to be around, and I want their grandkids, my grandkids, to be around when I'm 89
Absolutely.
or whatever else. My dad has built an environment where I don't want to go over there. Your dad built an environment that you didn't want to go over there. So the lifespan of his relationship with you was very, very limited. And what you've done more than anything else, the wealth I believe you've created, because I've been to your home and I've hung out with your family, I love your family.
Thank you.
Is you've expanded your lifespan with your children. How important is it to keep your kids around you, and what practices are you doing to keep them in the fold?
It's amazing, you know. So we have a company called Legacy Capitals, and one day you shall do this, plural, Legacy Capitals, Dr. Orlando. And what Dr. Orlando does, he works with high net worth families, and there's a lot of friction in these families, as you can imagine, because there's economics involved, there's estate planning, there's a lot of sensitivity that goes around it.
And siblings going, I deserve more than that sibling.
There's a lot. You got to put some policies, rules, and I'm so blessed, Pace. We are always together, my family. And how that happened, not from one day to the other, again, momentum. You have to be intentional as a leader. You're a leader of your life. If you're a parent or a grandparent, well, guess what? You're a leader. They are not too much listening, but they're watching. They're watching over and over. And throughout the years, when I got my act together, man, I started really getting really excited about meeting this. I always wanted to meet the person I want to meet. I just focus on becoming that person, having that integrity, having that character, knowing that, okay, it's going to be 5 years. No, it's going to be 10 years. Because before it was like, what am I going to make next month? And just having that behavior, my kids picked up on it. Remember, I talked about Louisiana, Chinese. They picked up on it. And I sit back, and we did a test run with Legacy Capitals. God forbid, the day mom and dad are not here no longer, that day, what happens? There's a lot of moving parts, different investments. We have real estate. We have a lot of things going on. Other investments. What happens? So they did a test run. And we came back, and we saw the whole thing. And I'm so honored to be their father. Sophie feels the same way. And Dr. Orlando tells me, Bobby, because I see you doing it. You're walking the walk. You're just not, like I said, a flash dancer. You know, you're actually so freaking consistent that it's hard to ignore. And the kids pick up on it. That's how a legacy. See, a legacy, guys, it's not about the money. That's why he asked me about 20 minutes ago, what would you pick? It's not about the money. It's a business. The first $25 million that came in my account, my wife, she cried. And I'll tell you why. Me, I didn't cry. I was expecting fireworks. And then we started making $25, $30 million a year. This thing starts building. It didn't start like that. That momentum. It was disappointing. It wasn't like, wow, I was looking forward to this day. And it's not. Sophie, on the other hand, got really emotional, my wife of 35 years. And I said, babe, what's wrong? She feels bad for her family, she said. And this was many years ago. She's grown out of that a little bit now, but so it's.
She felt guilty making all that money.
Yeah, because you have family members that put this pressure on you. We put family members, man, they see always the bad, and everyone sees the good of you. It's just constant friction. And like my father, I had to love him from a distance. I love my father, but from a distance. Now my mom's different. She's up close, but it is what it is. And I don't pretend to try to create something that it's really not. So walking the walk, really being that leader, because right now you made a decision to really take the lead and control of your life. Now you can do what Bobby did. Start like the classifieds, get into real estate, find a reason why it doesn't work out all the economy, and I can tell you real estate is always gonna be around. And just like Ed told me, oh, my mom just bought something in Jacksonville, I wish it was $40,000. You could buy something today and you're gonna say the same thing 10 years, 20 years from now. I always look at that. I look back, when you think you're overpaid, you're not overpaying. When you think that you're creating a good creative financial structure and other people are saying, oh, you overpaid by 20 because you were able to create a transaction, an investment, you're gonna look back and say, so what you wanna do, I guess where I'm going on this, you gotta take charge of your life. You're here for a reason. If it's not gonna work out here, when is it gonna work out? What is the excuse? What is your excuse? I'm not the only one who did it. I belong to an organization called R, like the letter 360, R360 Global. 151 members. Over $100 million verifiable net worth, and amazing stories, Pace. I can't wait to introduce you to a lot of them. I'm one of 5 founding members. It's everywhere. The only reason you don't see it or hear about it is because you're preoccupied with distractions.
Number one question I get every day is, how do I get everything done? I have 9 companies, 600 employees. We have customers all over the globe. We're doing fix and flips. We're doing buy and holds, apartments, RV parks, all of those things. Everybody wonders, how did I scale? How did I get to a higher level? And the answer is that, GoHighLevel. I use a CRM that allows all of my customers to come into one database. And instead of me hiring more employees to go and do all the follow-up, GoHighLevel has systems and automations that does all of that for me. So not only can I have my employees focus on higher end tasks, money-making tasks, GoHighLevel avoids all of the extra payroll. When you're brand new, having GoHighLevel is like having 5 different employees doing all the work for you just for a monthly fee. Go to GoHighLevel.com/Pace to learn how I'm using it, not only in my lending business, but my wholesale business, my fix and flip business. Literally, GoHighLevel controls the entire back end of all 9 of my companies. Go to GoHighLevel.com/Pace to learn more.
You're so preoccupied with distractions that you're addicted to it. Distractions, it needs energy to live. And every time you give it energy, it stays living in front of you and around you. What you want to give energy to. One thing is guaranteed, guys. What you focus and what you give energy to, only one thing is guaranteed to happen. It grows. That could be bad, it could be good, it could be great. What are you focusing, giving energy to? Are you a stroller? Are you just a commercial consumer that's looking at TikTok, Instagram, commercial, a little laugh, then you're never gonna be a good investor, because what did I say about your time? You have to invest your time. You don't get it back. If you don't understand the precious asset of that, how would you ever be a good real estate investor if you don't value your time? I would rather learn about real estate before I scroll on social media at whatever you're doing. And the reason I bring up social media, I sold my company, my son Brandon, Dad, you should get on social media. So I did that, and I stopped social media like 3 months ago. And I'm blessed because, dude, 3 people, they almost took their lives. One I met at an event. He was coming over. I was sitting with, it was me, Andy Frisella, a few people. They had a big line, Q&As, and I recognized this dude from like 2 years back. He comes up, his name is Jose in California. He was in solar, like 26, 27 years old. At an event 2 years prior, he comes up to me, Bobby, my wife made me come up to you. No, I saw him, we were taking photographs, and everyone kept butting in line with this kid. They would just move him aside, and he would get further away from the line. Finally, I said, hey, dude, come up here. Take a picture and all. He goes, oh, Bobby, I don't want a picture. I just need 5 minutes of your time. And he was in distress. So immediately I finished up what I did. We went, it was in some big mansion. We went in the room. He was in a bad spot. I'm not gonna get into details, but he was thinking about taking his life. Fast forward, I stood there for like 3 hours, followed up several times with him. Good kid, great wife. They had a little pee-wee. 2 years later at that event, they're doing Q&As. But I don't have a question. I just want to thank Bobby. And the whole thing of why he decided not to commit suicide, he's in a better spot. So talk about meeting someone at the right time. So social media, I got on social media to give that value to inspire other ones. And it's so powerful, guys. It's like a python. It will wrap itself around you. I started really getting wrapped around it too. But I know, Bobby, I dug deep. I said, oh, no way. Brought out the knives, started cutting this python. No way. Because we can revert. No matter how strong, how powerful you think you are, you got to be always on high alert. You can slip.
Bobby Castro. Bobby, what's the future look like for you? What are you excited about? I know you've got, everybody wants to hang out with you. I want to hang out with you. Your kids and you spend a ton of time together. But what does your family office, what are you guys really looking forward to? Whether it's more apartments, more investing, creating new things, or is there anything else that you're excited about?
So we're excited about charity. My wife is really big on charity. We built a school in Africa. We now want to get some multifamily units to give a program, but just not give it out for free rent, free housing, but in exchange, in order to live there, you gotta create what you say you're gonna create. If not, you lose that, I hate to call it entitlement. So that we inspired that, Priscilla, my daughter. We're building our real estate portfolio aggressively. We are now, let me tell you guys about real estate. This is the time to lean into real estate. When everyone is talking, being concerned, there's a lot of things to be concerned on, you gotta lean in. You gotta lean in now. Me and Sophie made our most wealth in real estate in times like this. I am out hunting deals. People are willing to talk. I probably have 3-5 offers at a time. You have to make a lot of offers to get one, get that right good offer. I'm so hungry for it. We have a family office where we do structured lending. We do a lot of lending on structured, mezz financing, pref lending, private equity, invested in AI. But mainly, me and Sophie, our mission is our family. We're spending so much time with them now with our little grandbabies. We do our quarterly meetings with Legacy Capitals, off-site. Every quarter is off-site. Every month is a meeting, just like a board meeting. And we go over everything. It's so structured and it's so good that there is a stat. Can you imagine this? And talk about why my family stayed so broke. Mom and dad create some event in their life, like Sophie and I. Brandon and Priscilla and their siblings, they wind up blowing 70% of it when we're gone. Really nothing's there for the grandkids. That's how it's all bled out. If you look at the Vanderbilts, you look at the Rockefellers. Same situation with you. It just gets worse, worse, worse. And again, the reason I'm bringing that up, if you can start practicing that in your household, how you do life, you will start having a different relationship with money. When you start training yourself on how to invest time, how to be patient, do all these things and have a really outlook, because what happens, a lot of people think too small. And the reason they think too small, as I did, if you think really for 10 years out, those little base hits, that's like somebody else's big, big dream. You gotta think 10 years out here. I'm challenging each and every one of you. Go 10 years out. I want you to become wealthy. Becoming rich, it's a job. Monday, you do have to go back. Wealthy, you never have to go back. It's on your time. I just did, with this famous dentist in California, Dr. C, and tell you about, and I'm not here to brag, but I'm gonna tell you about freedom, money-wise. And I don't like to go to dentists. Who wants to keep their mouth open for 5-6 hours and go back? They have to put they first have to put the concrete in, and then you got to do the. Well, guess what? I hired the best anesthesiologist to come to my house and my spa. Best dentist to come in my house and my spa, right there, and walk me right to my bed. Now that is freedom on your time. I'm not talking about going out buying a Rolex, doing all that. I'm talking about things like that for help. Think about the power of that. Hiring an anesthesiologist. How do you do that to go to your house? How is that even legal? Well, number one, it is, and it's super expensive. But can you imagine the power of that freedom? Or do you want to go to the dentist and keep your mouth open for 6 hours? That's just an example that I just experienced. And I even realized it. Until my Deanna, some of the housekeepers we have for over 20 years, they looked at it and I didn't even realize. And the more I'm getting closer to God, just knowing I have him, and he, I'm like, man, and I thank that younger Bobby. Man, I'm proud of you, dude. I'm starting to feel good about myself.
I look up to you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, same thing
Thank
here.
you.
So everyone, they're all around different parts of the country?
Oh yeah, everybody flew in. Who's here in Arizona? Couple people, awesome. Who thinks they're the furthest away from here?
Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Oh wow,
Cocoa Beach,
Florida
okay.
like me.
Tampa, okay. Michigan. Where? Any Alaskans? Okay, all the way in the back. Atlanta, my
Wow.
favorite city in the country. I love that city.
Maryland.
Chicago.
New York.
So everybody. So this week, Bobby, what we're teaching them to do is we're teaching them to do something that they might not do forever, just like you did, like you Section 8,
Yeah,
wholesaling,
you keep
flipping.
evolving.
You evolve, but you need to acquire some resources and some skills and whatnot. But what we're doing this week is we're actually submitting letters of intent to real estate agents who have houses that have been on the market for over 90 days.
Okay.
Why would we do that, everybody? They have motivation, right? Bobby already talked to this a little bit, is that they're already motivated right now because the market's soft, and they're all talking amongst themselves saying, oh my gosh, I've got fired from this listing, listings are down. We had the slowest retail market in 23 years last year. So last year was the slowest market in 23 years, meaning real estate agents and real estate loan officers had the worst year in 23 years last year. For us as real estate investors, it was our best year because we can work creative deals, we can get a lot of no or low money down deals, and what we know how to do as real estate investors actually excels in markets like this. And so leaning in is really great. This week, the main skill you're going to learn is how do I find the opportunity? How do I have that first initial conversation with that opportunity? And then what are the next steps after it? What's going to happen is, again, this week, it's like 4 hours every day, 4 days in a row, right? Next week, the biggest challenge you're going to have is the rest of your world is going to come back and go, I don't think so. I'm going to take you back into this comfort zone. And you're going to have your friends, your family members, you're going to have people tell you that, what are you doing here? Right? When I first got into wholesale, Bobby, I had a gentleman, I'm not much of a wholesaler anymore. Mostly we're buying RV parks and mobile home parks and multifamily like you guys. Not as much as you guys, but I had a buddy of mine worked at Apple. And I really, at the time, I looked up to him like, man, a steady job? A steady job at Apple? And I said, I think I'm going to become a wholesaler. He goes, oh, one of those guys that steals equity from old ladies. If I could go back to that pace that had all this self-doubt from the wrong person, right? Picking it up, like Bobby said, like you're picking it up. I went through 3 months of going, I probably shouldn't get into it. I'll keep swinging a hammer like I was doing. And guess what my friend Ben is still doing to this day? He still works at Apple.
Incredible, yeah.
There's a compound effect, right? That consistency Bobby's talking about, that little compound effect of what your life looks like over time. And I was just patient and happy to be in this business. But what you're going to find this week, I'd show you the coolest thing that you'll find in this business is that we help people. We're not trying to get one over on anybody. You will hear the conversations I have and Ingrid has. When we call your guys' leads this week, you will go, these people need our help. This business is so cool. You can buy apartments from people retiring, and you can rent them out to people that need affordable housing. You're helping two sides of the coin.
Without a doubt.
It's the coolest
one thing
thing
I'm
ever.
getting into now, and I buying notes and mortgage notes on the secondary market. One thing I want to comment on, it's very important, guys. I'm gonna help you here. If you want to have just increase your odds, he said something important. When you go back, the friction is what? Remember I said you're gonna have to start subtracting things? Because if you don't subtract them, how are you gonna, who has a job? Raise your hand here. Good, I love it. Well, think about that. You have a job, you have family, you have all this inbound, and then you have all this other activity that really doesn't matter. So the first things first, cut out that activity because you're gonna have to what? Find time to be really committed to dials. Committed to really create what? That flywheel, that momentum. So the first thing you should do after this incredible 4 days, 5 days, however long you're gonna be here, you have to go back, do a report card. Who are you gonna be knocking out of your life for a moment in time? You don't have to be rude about it, you just fade away. You don't have to go through this whole drama to explain the whole, I was at Pace and I saw Bobby Castro, he told me to subtract. You're wasting time. Just fade and love from a distance, number one. You're gonna have to find time. That's why time is the most precious asset. If you don't have to find the time, you're not gonna find the juice for the momentum to keep you going. And you're gonna quit. And then number two, don't go back and tell people what you're doing.
The best advice you could have given all day.
I'm telling you right now, you're putting yourself in a room full of pythons. They become very sticky. Stay strong, stay committed, have integrity, have character. You don't have to go in silent.
So something how I've been describing this the last couple of years is, who in here speaks Spanish? I know Ingrid. Okay, so Ingrid, you joke around with me with Spanish. I don't know what that means.
Nice.
I'm allergic to pesto, actually. So, what's your name?
Marley.
Okay, Marley, you speak Spanish?
Yes.
Okay, you know I don't speak Spanish, correct?
I know.
So if you had a whole conversation with me speaking Spanish, and I told you, hey, I don't speak Spanish, but you kept speaking Spanish to me, who's crazy in that conversation?
Me?
You.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you go home, you guys got to understand whether you speak Spanish or another language, everybody in here speaks the entrepreneur language. I want to be more, have more, do more. Right? I want to go help more people. It's a different language. And so when you go home and you're having a conversation with the people at your 9-to-5 job, your spouse maybe even sometimes, your family members, your friends from your old life, and they're all living that life, they speak a different language than you now. And so what's going to happen is you go and start speaking a different language to them, they're going to say, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Just like you speaking Spanish to me. I don't speak that language. So remember, guys, I'm bilingual. I speak English and entrepreneurship English. I do not waste my entrepreneurship conversation on people that do not understand that language. It's crazy. Talking to my mom about it or my siblings about it, I ask them, how's your job going? How's your this? How's your kids? Those kind of things. But I'm not talking about, hey, I'm gonna go buy an RV park tomorrow. Hey, I'm gonna go buy a business tomorrow. They don't understand it. They're gonna think you're crazy.
You're gonna get friction.
Yeah. And then guess what? You're gonna pick up, like he said. You're gonna pick all that friction up and then you're gonna start self-doubting 100%.
Who has some financial friction right now in your own personal life? Good, this is what this is about, guys. Raise your hand. Think about what he just said. You have friction. Chances are the associations you have also have friction. Put friction and friction together, what do you get? More friction. Start thinking like an investor. I'm telling you, incredible how this school system, the amount of wealth out there, and guys, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's that flywheel. Once it happens, it's incredible. And what growth is about meeting new people. Imagine only knowing the same 29 people for the rest of your life. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's so much out there, so much investors. I never took investors because I didn't know anybody with money. Internet wasn't there. Would I do it differently? Yeah, maybe. Maybe instead of having 2,500 units, 100% own, 100% our own capital, that's equivalent to maybe 40,000 units. Maybe, yes, but I didn't know. Like I tell my son, we're talking about that now, and Eddie and Brandon, the world's different, the world's flat now, there's no more walls. Now, everyone, I mean, this is just a golden land of opportunity. One question I had here, who's been in real estate, who's dabbled in real estate before coming here? Okay. Who dabbled in real estate and gave up on real estate for a moment? Okay. This is good. This is good RPMs, guys, because it just shows us how vulnerable we are that we can revert back to what? Generational patterns. And you failed a little bit, right? It's okay. Failure is great because that's a lesson. The gentleman with the orange, you're looking at me. No, you, right there. Yeah, you, dude. So what happened? You started and then you faded a little bit. What happened? Stand up. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Oscar, and what happens is my environment, when I try to talk to people about it,
That's what Latinos say.
Hispanic guy, right?
Good.
Yeah, hi everybody, my name is Oscar, and what happens is my environment is not, the right environment, and every time I talk to people about it, like they mentioned, it kind of gives me doubt, so I kind of like lay down low a little bit and then try to pick it up but on my own,
My wife is Hispanic, and I went to El Paso to visit her family with her for a funeral. And my wife has been out of high school for quite a while. And we go to this family funeral, and her cousins don't call her Laura, they call her, hey, cheerleader.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Because she used to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And when she was a cheerleader in high school, they would say, oh, you think you're better than us, huh? 20 years later, they still call her that. The mindset of your locals, it's so toxic, it's so bad. And what's even double worse for Hispanic culture is you guys are very family oriented. And so you take their advice a lot stronger than somebody else would, right? You're around the Hispanics that are, oh, you think you're better than me. Oh, you think you're this, you think you're that. Oh, you think you're gonna do this. Like, you're not gonna work hard. Oh, you're gonna work, let me guess, Oscar, you're gonna work smart, not hard. Right? And you take their advice and it sends you right back into the same equation.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And so what made you come back?
Well, like I mentioned, I laid low, but I didn't really stop. I kind of like got self-doubt, and I was trying to figure something out.
Were you doing deals?
Well, I also joined Gator, and
Okay,
then
good.
all this is brand new to me because of my background, like all I know was work hard, and nothing else, no investment or nothing. And then
All you have to do, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'm here with my wife.
That's the best way, brother.
So I kind of drag her down, because like I mentioned, I told a whole bunch of people, but everybody was like, nah, you're crazy,
You don't have a black Mustang with like heat blowing on you, do you?
Nah.
Thank you, Oscar. Appreciate you, brother.
Does anybody have any questions out there?
Stand up.
New York.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I'm just gonna have my phone to just know what I'm trying to say.
She's gonna ask to borrow $1 billion.
Yes, please. Make it 2. I just got so geeked out about what you guys were saying, so I wrote it down, but I might skip over my words, so excuse me. I just want to validate a lot of points that you guys made today. I mean, it's just really settled with me. First and foremost, Pace really touched me when he said in his email about growing in the right places. I'm a gardener, so when he said, you're growing in the wrong pot, or you have grown your pot, I said, okay, I have to sign up. So that's one of the things that really spoke to me. But when you said about 70,000 thoughts, I am a certified practitioner with the Embody Lab, and one of the things that they talk about is generational. We're expressing about 14 generations actually, down the line. So our behavior, how we talk, how we heal, how we, our sicknesses is 14 years from before. Our cells is not our own. So basically, what I had to realize about that is my money story. I was born in Haiti. And I witnessed my mom, as a young mother, single, didn't have a place to live. And I ended up as a single mother without a place to live too. And that was a generational pattern, just circulating through until I realized, wait a minute, this does not have to continue, and it will not continue with my children. And so 70,000 thoughts, what that means is we're repeating those 70,000 thoughts daily until we realize, okay, this is a pattern. I started noticing what my thoughts are about money, and it was really fearful. So when I was speaking to Myrna, which is also a salesperson from Pace Morby, which I love, I told her my story. I said, you know what? This is about fear. When it comes to my money story, it was about being, because I was in Haiti, and my mom was telling me, hey, listen, we're about to come to New York, but don't tell anybody because everybody might hate you, and they don't want to see you doing well. So you got to hide it. So what I learned was, I can't thrive and succeed without hiding it, or it won't be safe. So as an adult, I started realizing, like, this is my story. So when I was talking to Myrna, I said, oh my God. So this is good for me because that's what made me make a different choice to come here today, to come from New York, okay? I hurt my knee on Wednesday, on the 4th. I was like, I'm still coming. I'm limping at the airport, I'm still coming.
Good,
you know what I mean?
you.
Because I wanted to do something different for myself and my children. So yeah, so when we talk about generational, how we're expressing, I'm noticing myself. I'm like, okay, is this me, or is this something that, from my past? When I'm listening to my sisters talk about money and their fears, I'm checking myself. So especially when I heard people talk about their fears for no one left behind, I said, you know what? This is gonna have to be for me. This is a new mindset. I'm excited, fresh energy. This is why I had to make the choice that I had to make without anybody else, getting in the source and putting their own doubts in my field. So I'm kind of going off right now.
We love it.
So,
Thank you.
But that's what I wanted to say.
New York
Thank you.
in the house. I want to thank Bobby personally. Bobby, I just want to thank you for being a father figure to me. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you so much. A guy, you go sell a company for $1 billion. There's a lot of things you can learn from that. When you don't have a lot of money, you think in your mind, you think short term. You go, but if I just made $1 million, I could be done. Then you get to a point where if I could make $10 million, I could be done. Your story gives guys like me permission to never stop providing value no matter how much money we make.
That's right.
And we all owe you or other people like you a debt of gratitude of saying, dude, thanks for not quitting. Thanks for hitting the top of the mountain and helping everybody else come to the very, very top. Thank you for all you do, bro. I appreciate you so much.
Give me a hug, dude.
One of the most common questions I get is, what title company do I use? What title company am I using in Arizona, Atlanta, California, Texas, whatever? The answer for many years was a different title company in every state, because not every state handles transactions the same way. Now, the answer is one title company. It's Creative Title and Escrow. Go to getcreativetitle.com/podcast. You can learn how they will do SubTo deals, seller finance deals, cash transactions, gator deals, double close, transactional lending, whatever, even novation agreements. There's really nothing that Creative Title and Escrow can't do. To learn how brand new investors are using Creative Title all the way up to the biggest players in the industry, head over to getcreativetitle.com/podcast.